Welcome to the Binge. I'm your host, here to explore a whirlwind of topics that pique our curiosity and spark conversations. From the latest trends and cultural phenomena to the quirky and unexpected, we'll dive into what's captivating us right now. So whether you're seeking inspiration or just want to join in on some intriguing discussions, grab your snacks and settle in. Let's get binging.
It's the Binge Podcast where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast. Come join us fast.
Ariana Grande, a petite powerhouse of ponytails and pipes. At first glance, Ariana Grande seems almost comically ill-suited for pop stardom. She's roughly the size of a tween ventriloquist's dummy, with a voice that sounds at least 4 octaves higher than her miniature stature would suggest. This is a woman who could easily be mistaken for one of the kids from the Woodstock '99 revival tour. And yet, through sheer force of will, an inhumanely impressive vocal range, and enough hair extensions to double as rock climbing ropes, Grande has managed to defy all logic and become one of the biggest pop divas on the planet. It's an achievement so improbable scientists are still struggling to explain it. Perhaps her greatest superpower is the ability to cram an utterly ludicrous amount of vocal runs, riffs, and melismas into every single song. Grande's music isn't so much sung as it is an intricate series of vocal gymnastics and Cirque du Soleil level feats of breath control. Listening to an Ariana track is like getting repeatedly smacked in the eardrums with a Muppet having a prolonged asthma attack. It's both impressive and deeply unsettling, like watching a tiny mannequin come to life and start belting out improvisational jazz scat. You can't decide if you should be in awe of the vocal fireworks or calling an exorcist to deal with the clearly possessed doll woman. But don't let her petite frame and koopy doll looks fool you. Grande is a bona fide diva with enough swagger to make Mariah Carey seem about as intimidating as a drunk teddy bear. She exudes the overconfident, completely unbothered energy of a woman who knows she could outsing literally every other pop star on the planet while simultaneously pulling off skyscraper-sized ponytails and thigh-high boots. These iconic ponytails, by the way, are essentially their own franchise at this point. If you attempted to create a drinking game by taking a shot every time Grande whipped her hair back and forth, you'd be hospitalized for alcohol poisoning before the first chorus. Yet for all her diva bravado and vocal pyrotechnics, Grande still maintains a weird, almost anti-celebrity mystique. She seems utterly unfazed by her own fame, content to simply exist as an otherworldly, diminutive being who just so happens to be one of the biggest pop stars on Earth. Is she a once-in-a-generation vocal talent? An alien princess visiting from the planet Vocalizdra? Or just a regular woman in an extremely high-pitched voice and enough hair extensions to double as a safety harness? Honestly, at this point, anything is possible with the ineffable enigma that is Ariana Grande. The twisted, sordid underbelly of the artisanal paperclip industry. To the untrained eye, the humble paperclip seems utterly innocuous. A simple metal loop designed to bind papers together, but oh, how that outward mundanity masks a dark, sordid underbelly of controversy, corruption, and high-stakes drama that would make a soap opera writer blush. Welcome to the seedy underworld of artisanal paperclip manufacturing, where each seemingly pedestrian office supply is painstakingly crafted by artists, alchemists, and outright madmen. This is no mere factory job. It's a tangled web of jealousy, greed, and enough backstabbing to make the Game of Thrones writers go, "Damn, that's cold." Let's start at the beginning, shall we? The raw materials for these boutique paperclips don't come from your ordinary mines or smelters. Oh no, the most sought-after clips are forged from metal sourced from only the most obscure and treacherous regions of the world. In the sulfurous pits of Indonesian salt mines, wiry men with leathery skin and not a single OSHA regulation in sight hack away at the earth with rusted picks, extracting rare nickel-zinc alloys. These precious materials are then smuggled out in batches, bound for the artisanal clip foundries. Once the metals arrive at these clandestine forges, They're subjected to a series of alchemical processes that would make a medieval mystic blush. Smelting, folding, hammering, all while chanting in obscure tongues and observing arcane rituals. Why? To imbue each individual clip with its own unique spiritual energy and metaphysical properties, of course. The most skilled and respected paperclip artisans are said to be able to subtly influence the luck, prosperity, and romantic fortunes of the eventual owners, all through the precise angles and geometry of their creations. Naturally, this has given rise to a lucrative global black market for lucky clips, peddled by charlatans and con artists. But the true masters of this dark art form are the members of the ultra-exclusive Aluminum Alliance, a shadowy cabal of the world's most elite paperclip crafters. Membership is highly coveted, yet nearly impossible to obtain, as the Alliance's ranks are constantly roiled by vicious internal power struggles, poisonings, and the occasional dramatic self-trichotomy via unbent paperclip. Those who ascend to the highest echelons of the Alliance wield near unlimited power and influence over the global supply chain of these simple desktop baubles. Fortunes have been made and lost with the mere flick of their wrists and the subtle rebending of a single curve. So the next time you mindlessly shuffle some papers together with an ordinary metal clip, pause and consider the arcane rituals, cloak and dagger maneuverings, and outright occultism that likely went into its creation. What seems like an innocuous office supply may in fact be a tiny but potent totem, capable of bending not just steel, but the very winds of fate themselves. The world of artisanal paperclip crafting is not for the faint of heart. Only the most determined, the most cunning, and frankly, the most unhinged souls among us could hope to survive its initiations and power struggles. Consider yourself warned, my friends. That seemingly humble object binding your documents could be much more than meets the eye. The sandwich. All right, listen up, folks, because I'm about to blow the lid off of one of history's biggest cover-ups, the true origins of the sandwich. I know what you've been taught, that the sandwich was invented by the Earl of Sandwich back in 1762 so he could eat with his hands and not get grease stains all over his ruffled sleeves while playing cribbage. What a crock of baloney. The real story behind the sandwich is far more juicy and salacious. It all started back in ancient Mesopotamia around 1200 BC. The Sumerians, after a long night of inebriated debauchery and worshipping pagan fertility goddesses, awoke with a legendary case of the munchies. Stumbling into their kitchen, still half drunk on fermented date wine, they began slapping together any old scraps of food between slabs of pita bread. Bam! The first sandwich was born out of drunken necessity. Now, you'd think such an important culinary milestone would be shouted from the rooftops, celebrated for eons to come, but no. Those gluttonous Sumerians decided to keep their bread-based creation a closely guarded secret, fearing other civilizations would steal their precious invention. For over 2,000 years, the sacred sandwich recipe was cloaked in mystery, passed down only to the highest members of ancient Mesopotamian sandwich societies. Entire loaves of bread were used to conceal the sacred texts detailing the proper ratios of meats, cheeses, and condiments. It wasn't until 1762 that the truth finally surfaced, when a Sumerian chef's apprentice spilled the beans to the Earl of Sandwich after a heated game of cribbage. The Earl, always one for taking credit, declared himself the originator and set forth a campaign of lies and misinformation that has persisted to this very day. So there you have it, folks. The sandwich, that most basic and beloved of foods, has a scandalous, munchie-fueled past steeped in ancient Mesopotamian debauchery. Those are the facts, straight from the cutting board of history. The next time you're chowing down on a BLT or an Italian sub, show some respect. You're partaking in a sacred tradition that dates back millennia to the whispered secrets of the Sumerian sandwich underground. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a wicked case of the munchies myself. Please consider subscribing.
Tune in right now. Got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Right now, got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Tune in right now. Stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast.